So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kelly, or Coley, as you can see. If you're wondering where the E went, it left because I'm just stupid. So if you follow me on Snapchat or Instagram, you will know that I posted some things that were kind of crazy 2 days ago. Like, for instance, I posted this image. And a video of me crying, which I will show at the end of this video, which just was awesome. So I asked you guys if I should tell the story of how I got pulled over for the first time 2 nights ago, and you guys said yes! So I will share that with you right now. So it all started with my Hawaiian family visiting for, for the first time in like 5 years. So I haven't seen them in a very, very long time. Actually, more than 5 years. No, 5 years. 5 years. So it was super exciting, and the reason why is because my cousin, he was stationed, he's in the Navy, and he was stationed in Spain for like a year or so, and now he is moving his operations up to the naval base in Bremerton. So, great. So if you don't know how Washington works, I live in Washington and I live in Seattle. And Bremerton is where I like to call Washington's butt crack, because there's kind of like this huge crack in the middle, and there's all this water everywhere, and there's islands all over the place, and it's in there. In order to get to and fro from Bremerton, you could take like a highway, and it would take a long time, or you can take the ferry. But the ferries were closed down when Marcus decided he wanted to go back, and it was like 10:30 at this point. So I was like, you know what? It'll be a fun drive, a fun nighttime jimmy-jammy drive back to Bremerton or whatever. I was with Emily too, so I thought Emily was going to come with me, but Emily last minute decided that she thought it would be too late, which totally agree with her. But dropping Emily off was one of the worst decisions of my life. Anyways, so we start heading up there. It takes me like a full tank of gas to get up there, but I had no problems. No problems getting up there. I used my GPS. There was no problems. We got up there super safe, sound, smooth. It was great. It took an hour to get up there, so at this point it was 11:30, and I dropped my cousin off. And, we said our goodbyes, and then he left. I plugged in my address to go home, and I started chugging along. And I was very trusting of my GPS at this point. I start heading back, and about 40 minutes into the drive, I realize I think I'm going the wrong way. I go to bed really early. I don't like to stay up late, so it was really late at this point for me, and I wasn't really fully mentally in the game. Just keep your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game. We gotta get ahead in the game. The GPS took me to a ferry that's super far north, but all the ferries are closed, so I just kind of drove for 40 minutes for no reason. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I started heading back down in the opposite direction, still trusting my GPS to know where the fuck to go. But now I'm going on a different route. That route took me to another ferry. And I'm like, great, how many ferries are on Bremerton anyways? So I was like, okay, let me take the last route, and if it takes me to the ferry, I'm not gonna trust the GPS anymore. And then I start heading along, to the next location, and at this point, it's like midnight. it's like 12:30, close to 1 a.m. I see a figure standing in the middle of the road, looking at me, and I just kind of was freaked out, but it wasn't, I was like, okay, like, who's this asshole in the middle of the street? And like in movies how something passes by you really slowly and you look at it and then you snap back to reality, that's kind of the moment I had at that point. I look to my right and I see that the person that was standing in the street was a cop. And the cop car went very slowly past my vision, but I saw it, and then it snapped back to reality and I was on the road and I was speeding, which I wasn't paying attention to my speedometer because I was looking at the map trying to figure out where I am. It was super late at night. Like, okay, those aren't excuses, but like for me that was my excuse at the time. So I wasn't really paying attention to my speedometer. I was kind of out of it. And then the cop came out of their little cubby hole and started tailgating me. And for some reason, I don't know, I still had like a glimmer of hope, like
maybe I won't get pulled over.
So I was like, please don't let it be for me, please don't let it be for me. And then the lights went off and the siren went off. And if you've ever been pulled over before, you'll know that like when there's a cop behind you and the lights start going off, you just have the ultimate sinking feeling of like, fuck, you know? So I was already stressed from being lost on this island for a good 2 hours now, and now there's a cop behind me pulling me over. So I pull over on the side of the road, and the cop, you know, comes up to me and starts knocking on the door. And she was like, license and registration, please, shining a bright-ass flashlight in my face. To make sure if my eyes will, you know, dilate or not. And I'm like, okay, cool. I start violently shaking at this point. So I'm like trying to reach for my license and registration, and I'm really shooken up really badly. And I give her the stuff that she needs, and she was very kind and very patient. She was showing me like what stuff I need. And pointing out like, yes, this is your license, this is your registration, this is your whatever. So she's like, okay, I'll be right back, you know, stay put. I'm like, okay, I'll stay put. When she left, that's when I had the ultimate realization of like, I'm fucked. I don't know where I am. And also, what I was noticing as I was driving was there was so much construction going on that like, I couldn't go back the same way that I came. That's why my GPS kept taking me to all these different ferries, because all the roads were closed. And I kind of had this realization that like, I'm fucked. And, you know, and now I have to worry about this ticket I'm getting, all at the same time. So I just start feeling sick to my stomach. You know, hold on, I have to get some chapstick. I'm getting chapped up. Oh gosh. And you know the worst. You know that your night is bad when getting pulled over is kind of the least of your problems. So the cop came back and she was like, yeah, this is your ticket. This is all the stuff that you have to do. You have to respond within 15 days, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. By the way, I'm really lost, and I'm trying to get back to Seattle. Do you know anything, please? I need help. And she just kind of told me, like, the roads are closed, so I'm not sure. I think you're just gonna have to go on a bunch of, like, back routes and, just pray for the best and just go south. And I'm like, great. Just go south. Just go south. Just go south! Before the cop left though, I asked if I could take a selfie while she was questioning me, and she was very nice and said, yes, you can take a selfie for memories. So I did. Here's the selfie right here. She was shining the flashlight in my eyes. You can tell just how dead I am inside. Anyways, if you ask me what the most millennial thing I've ever done, it's probably that. So, that happened, the cop left. I started going into full panic mode. So I drove around for another 20 minutes and I decided that, look, Kelly, you're having a panic attack. Let's pull over, let's calm down, let's breathe. So I pull over and I call my mom. I'm like, you know, I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm straight up sobbing at this point. And I'm like, Mom, I got pulled over, I'm lost, I don't know where I am, I'm so far away from home, and please help me. And she couldn't do anything, and she was like, well, Kelly, just go south. You know, I I strapped in, I buckled my seatbelt real tight, real tight. I put my hands on the 10 and the 2, and I'm like, okay, let's get prepared to just go south. So I pull out my phone. My phone, you know how like in the olden times where people had to follow the North Star? I had to follow the South Star, okay? And the star was my phone and a compass, and I'm going south. And there was like so much construction that like I had to really like fucking weave my way through all this stuff. And there was like one point in the night where I was driving and I was following like this weird ass like dirt construction truck, but I was so tired that I didn't realize what was going on, and I started following the car just because, you know, it was like blind spot, like it was really big, so I couldn't see what was in front of me. And I ended up going in the construction zone that I wasn't supposed to be, and people were yelling at me and they're like, "You're not supposed to be here, get out, you little varmint." And I was like, oh fuck, and I turned and I knocked over like 3 traffic cones, and I just booked it because I didn't want to be there. I was already sobbing too. I was still sobbing. And then at around like I'd say like 1:30 a.m. I had to pull over again because I was still having kind of like this huge panic attack, and I had to throw up. That was a highlight. So here I am at 1:30 in the morning, just throwing up in pitch black in the middle of nowhere. That was one of the lowest moments of my life. I could say that with 100% certainty. But then, all of a sudden, I saw it. I saw the big sign. It said, "Welcome to Tacoma." And I was like, yes, I'm in Tacoma! And I've never said that before in my life, but when I saw the Tacoma sign, I just started crying with joy. I'm finally in Tacoma. I'm not on the middle buttfuck nowhere islands. I'm finally in Tacoma. And it was a great feeling. GPS, I'm gonna trust you again. Can you please get me home? And I typed in my address, and finally I didn't see ferry required on the top left corner, and I was happy. And at 2:10 in the morning, I posted this on my Snapchat. Please enjoy. I am finally home after being lost in Bremerton for 3 hours. I'm so tired. I also got pulled over for the first time ever by a cop. I threw up as well, and I also cried. So I'm gonna sleep probably for a year. And yeah, I'm home. I feel like I was on a quest, and my home was the Triforce, and I'm finally at the Triforce. And you wanna know what I'm gonna wish for? For sleep. If you've ever wondered what I looked like at, like peak exhaustion after having a huge panic attack, that was that video, and I'm gonna cherish that video forever. You know how they say don't drink and drive? For me, it's like, just don't be stupid and drive. Yeah, that's my story, and thank you for listening. Also, thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers. We just hit it very recently, and I didn't make a video about it because I was too lazy. But we did it! Woo! You know, what a great way to celebrate 3,000 subscribers, by talking about how I got lost on an island for 3 hours and got pulled over for the first time. So, yeah, hope you guys are here for the long haul. I still have huge bags under my eyes from dealing with that, because it only happened 2 nights ago. I'm still recovering, okay? Thanks for watching. Okay. Goodbye.